That's the sound of your current hype level at the gas pump. But brace yourself for something fuel nominal, because Unleaded 88 is about to take the hype to a whole new level. Unleaded 88 is cheaper, cleaner, and greener than regular unleaded. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So pump it up with Unleaded 88, brought to you by Iowa Corn.
Buenas noches, my necrotic night owls, and bienvenidos to the fright-inducing finale of the ATT Spooktober Spectacular. Come and have a seat. There's plenty of open graves to go around. We end our revolting revelry with a collection of sinister stories to keep you up at night. Flustered phantoms, devilish deals, and menacing manicures all feature in our fanfare of fright. Join the Fearists for a ghoulish good time and a roundtable telling of some spooky stories.
Welcome to Alien Theorists Theorizing. Case file 256. Spooky stories. Where's ghost stories? What, I forgot the name. I'm Braden.
I'm Zell.
I'm Dan. And I'm extremely distracted at the fact that Skeletor has made Braden his prison bitch right now.
Yes.
I can't even get over this.
If you're not watching the live stream, Braden may have his skeleton penetrating.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He's throwing me a bone.
He's hanging on tight. A little disturbing. I don't know how long I can watch this happen. Stop taking off your clothes.
I only got clothes on from the waist up.
Anyways, last year on Spooktober, we did urban legends. But to trick the SEO, we're going to call it ghost stories, but it's pretty much the same thing. Spooky tales probably happened to a friend of us.
Yeah, or a friend of ours.
Or a friend of a friend. Or perhaps to one of us. And obviously, we can't give names or dates or exact locations. So to start, we're each going to tell one spooky story to start. And then we'll see what happens at the end here. And to do it, we're going to bring out the dice.
The demon dice.
The demon dice. Haunted D20. Red with blood.
The demon dice.
I'm not going to cheat. Watching the stream. I mean, I'm rolling it, so I guess I could be somehow doing some secret magic here to roll it. But
voodoo magic.
So we're going to go low number goes first. I'll roll for myself first. Oh no, I rolled behind the screen.
Yeah, wow.
Oh,
I'm not going to cheat.
Wait, no,
I'm not going to cheat. Look at that.
Wait.
Yeah, how do I know your other hand wasn't just fucking flicking it over?
Yeah, this is some sort of... What was it?
It's right there. Can you see it?
I'm getting vertigo.
No, I can't see nothing.
No, 1 second. No, we're going to get it. I haven't looked. Here we go. Here.
Wow. That was convenient. What is
No,
that?
it's a 1. Perfect.
No, it's an 8.
An 8.
8.
All right.
8.
Listen, we got to go. Braden's got to go first before he dies of skeleton AIDS.
It's Skelliades.
Scades.
All right. Zell gets an 8. We'll go with Andrew next. That's a 1.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
It's a 1.
Even when he's not rolling the dice, it's like it's better.
All right. We're going with Dan.
Well, it doesn't matter. I got fucking lit here.
Oh, Dan got lucky. He got a 2. And Braden, the 16. So the order will be Andrew, Dan, Zell, Braden.
Shafted here, boys.
Oh, maybe nice and cooked by my time my story comes.
Yeah, a little slurry by the end here. Okay.
All right.
Set the mood a bit.
Well, there's only one way to set the mood for this fucking story.
How's that?
Picking up what I'm putting down. Here's a shovel. Can you dig it?
Can you dig it?
Nope, that's not it, buddy. It's a little heavier.
A little heavier?
A little heavier.
All right. Are you going to tell us, or are we supposed to keep guessing?
Are you serious? You don't know?
You're not picking up what I'm putting down?
It's a little heavier what you need to play?
A little heavier, a little louder, a little more electric. All right. So as we start these things, like we know, every time, the 100 other that I've talked about, I'm going to say this in first person, but this obviously happened to a friend of a friend of a friend of mine.
Of course.
All right.
Not even that much a friend, acquaintance.
Yeah, I'd say acquaintance. A guy I barely know.
Yeah, an
I
acquaintance.
don't even know if this guy's real.
Of mine.
He might be, you know what? This guy might be like a Bill Brasky.
Yeah.
You know, like the type of guy with a toenail on the end of his penis.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not
Hard
really
as
sure,
nail.
right? Yeah. So this starts off with a friend of ours who was working in a small town, kind of similar, in an area that's kind of similar to probably the southern interior of British Columbia. All right? If you've ever been there, I painted the picture for you. If you haven't, maybe Google it. Working late one night, call comes in. Dispatch gives us a quick call and says, hey, listen, we're not really sure what to take of this, but and person's neighbor called and said his wife's out sleepwalking by herself. Now, this is kind of a normal occurrence. She sleepwalks once or twice a month, but the husband usually is able to kind of, get out, grab her really quick and bring her back into the house. But this time she's been walking for about 10, 15 minutes now, and the husband hasn't come out to get her yet. They're worried that maybe, he's still asleep. They're not really sure what's going on. So we get dispatched, to go in the area, look around. They also preemptively send the RCMP. They also send, just precautionarily, search and rescue, just in case, right?
Just in case.
So we get there. We've gone up and down the block a few times, circled around. No sign of this person. RCMP takes about, RCMP at this time takes about half an hour, almost 40 minutes to get there, because in this particular area, the RCMP respond from about an hour away on nights. They have nobody staffed there
No one local.
on nights.
It's a good system.
We're talking real rural. Okay?
real
So
rural.
real rural.
Real
So
rural.
So RCMP show up and they say, hey, listen, do you guys have any luck yet? We said, no. We're going to go, talk to the husband and see if maybe, she made her way back or something's changed. We don't know. RCMP take off. And about 5 minutes later, we get a call from dispatch being like, respond code 3 to this address right now. So we hop in the car, not a lot of information. It's about fucking 5 minutes away, and we boog to the address. Come in, doors wide open. There's glass everywhere. Kind of looks like there's been a struggle. Not entirely sure what's going on. RCMP are yelling for us. We come in, and there's a junior RCMP member kneeled down in the bedroom, covered in blood, trying to stop a bleed in somebody's abdomen. So we're like, okay, great. Like, get him out of the way. We're talking 5 or 6 different knife wounds, mostly to the upper thorax and upper abdomen. We so much as we control as much of the bleed as we can. We push him TXA. This guy is currently in hypovolemic shock. He's got no blood pressure. He's got a very weak, thready pulse. He's like about as white as a ghost right now, is pale because he's almost bled out. He's almost exsanguinated, we're talking. So we've got no time to spare. We scoop him up and we get boogieing. The nearest tertiary hospital is about an hour away, so we got to get going. This is not the area that we're living in right now. It's got a smaller kind of like a treatment center, so we have to bypass that. We bypass that with any serious trauma. This obviously is a very serious trauma. This man needs blood product or he's going to die. Shit. So we completely bypass it, go to the major hospital. As we're leaving, you can kind of see a neighbor standing at the front door talking to the RCMP, kind of just yelling, being like, hey, like, where's his wife? Where's his wife? And we're like, well, you know, somebody said that she was out sleepwalking. They're like, well, you guys need to find her. She's like very pregnant. Like we're talking ready to pop. And if she's out, if she's out, something might happen. You know, we're worried about the wife and the baby. So we're like, okay, that kind of adds to it a little bit. Fuck. So we bring this gentleman in. We actually end up getting him to the hospital alive. He's got 2 large bore IVs. He's got TXA on board. Hopefully he's going to get blood product right away. He's going to have to get in to see the surgeon if he has any chances to survive. Does not look good. Okay. After bringing this gentleman in, we get a call from our manager being like, hey, the police are requesting you back at scene. They have some questions. They need to do a report. Everything happened quite quickly. So, you know, we need to help. We need to figure out possibly what happened to this guy's wife. So we get back there. And the police are like, well, we're not really sure if maybe she was kidnapped. And we're like, well, no, the initial call came in with her sleepwalking, so it doesn't seem like she was kidnapped. And he said, well, like, there's definitely a struggle. The doors were kicked in, but it almost looks like somebody was breaking out of the house as opposed to into the house.
Oh. Like the jambs are broken the wrong way.
The jambs are broken the wrong way. There was glass on the door, and the glass was outside, not inside.
Oh, okay.
Shit. Yeah, so it was super bizarre. And they had that same neighbor there again. And the neighbor was like, listen, like, you know, this guy's mom lives about, 45 minutes away. You guys got to get a hold of her. I'll get her number. You know, this is kind of a close-knit community. It's on a reserve. Everybody kind of knows each other's names. The neighbor stated that, like, the wife has been known to sleepwalk. It's nothing really that bizarre. And, it wasn't that concerning until the fact that we didn't see the husband coming after her. We're really worried about her. We hope, everything goes okay. So, unfortunately, for a friend of a friend, it's after you finish that, it's on to the next. There's other people that need an ambulance. We've got to move on. We got to do another call.
Yeah.
But obviously, this is a significant event, right? It's going to be in the back of your head. You're going to be worrying, like, I wonder if that guy survived. I wonder if he made it. So later that evening, actually, I'd say pretty much closer to the morning, because it's a night shift, after dropping off another patient at this tertiary hospital, it's about 45 minutes away, we're like, listen, hey, are you curious? Like, I'd like to know if this guy survived. We should go check in with a doctor, maybe poke our head into the trauma room if he's in the trauma room still, or maybe he's, been off to surgery. So when we went to go check, he was not in the room at the time, but there was a family member giving a statement to the RCMP. And I mean, listen, like, you're not snooping, but I'm doing my report, and I'm within earshot of the report.
Not doing anything wrong.
If my ears end up picking something up, they pick something up. It's, it is what it is.
You got good hearing.
This is my workspace, right?
Got good hearing.
Yeah. So as I got a little bit closer to working my report, it sounds like this is a family member, obviously. She's very distraught. It sounds like it's his mom. And as I'm listening, the mom stated that, the family, her family, the patient that had gone missing, the pregnant woman, was actually within a week or so of giving, of her due date. And that they've just recently moved back to this reserve within the year because they wanted to be closer to family. They've been really struggling to start a family, and they thought maybe coming closer to home, they'd have a little bit more luck. Okay. The mother the mother-to-be had believed that maybe if they came back to the lands that were, a little bit more fertile, as is, she would have luck kind of getting pregnant and starting a family. And believe it or not, within 2 weeks of being there, she started exhibiting this extremely bizarre behavior. The sleepwalking started where she had never sleepwalked before in her entire life. She'd be disappearing for hours on end at night, right? Until the husband started trying to follow her and find out what was going on. But what overshadowed that was the fact that she just finally, after years of trying, became pregnant. Right? So they were quite happy. Now that she's been progressing in her pregnancy, things like the sleepwalking started getting more severe. She'd be gone for longer. He couldn't control it. She was kind of lashing out in aggression. She was very ill during the day, so she was in bed all day, bedridden, and then she'd be up at night. Super bizarre. Didn't really make sense for him. So he kind of pleaded with her like, listen, we need to go see a doctor. You need to go see a doctor. This behavior is bizarre, but she was very firm in her stance that she didn't trust Western medicine. Okay. They tried with they did IVF. They did every other type of therapy to try and get pregnant. They saw doctors.
Yeah, no COVID shot for this lady.
Well, exactly, right? Like she wanted nothing to do with that kind of Western medicine. She had been burned off it. She maybe had a couple bad experiences when she was younger. She just wanted nothing to do with it. She wanted to do it as naturally as possible. But supposedly the mom said that they did finally meet some common ground. The mom stepped in and said, well, like on her reserve, there's actually a shamanic doula. Okay. And not knowing, I have absolutely no idea what that was, but it sounds like it's somewhat of a mix between a shaman and a doula.
Makes sense.
And shaman that specializes in pregnancy, right? Mm-hmm.
It sounds like it's a mix between the two words I do know.
Yeah, exactly, right? So apparently this doula came there, performed a few, ritualistic ceremonies over about a month. And by near the end of the month, he came to the conclusion that this pregnancy needed to be terminated as soon as possible.
Why?
The mom said they didn't offer any more explanation other than that. Okay. And they stormed out. The wife and husband had nothing to do with it. But the husband said, listen, there's obviously something here. There's obviously something wrong. You need to go see a doctor. We need to get to the bottom of this. She refused. Fast forward. We're talking eight months pregnant here. We're getting close. We're getting very close. Sleepwalking's been getting absolutely out of control. So bad to the point where the husband had to invest in doors and locking the doors and windows from the inside to stop her from getting out.
Weird.
Okay. He couldn't. She was relentless. She didn't stop. Right. The mother kind of asked, like, is there any explanation? Do we know what happened? Then police basically said, as of right now, the working theory is that she, tried to get out tonight and, a struggle ensued and she lashed out and stabbed your son. Right. And then she, in fact, did successfully get out of the house. Right. Then next thing you know, I kind of look over and the RCMP notice that I'm a little bit too glued into this conversation. And they're like, okay, like, let's close the curtain and, you kind of mind your business. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. We go on with our shift. It is what it is. Get home, sleep, get ready for the next night shift. During the next shift, we do a transfer to the nearest tertiary hospital, which just so happens to be the hospital we were at where we heard that story, the statement, right? Mm. While we're at the hospital, we're pulling up and we notice there's a large police presence there, which isn't always bizarre. It's not necessarily bizarre. There are usually a lot of cops at the hospital for whatever reasons, bringing psychs, whatever, violent situations at the hospital. But there seemed to be a little bit more police presence than normal. We offload our patient. We get into the ambulance bay, and there's another crew in there, visibly shook. Okay, there's one member sitting on the end of the ambulance. There's another member on the phone with the manager being like, you could hear him having a conversation with the manager, and the manager basically saying, hey, listen, you guys, don't worry, like, you're done. Wrap up, clean up, get yourself to the station, go, and then go home, like, shut you down. And which is a pretty normal practice for us, right? you'll go up and be like, hey, guy, like, how you guys doing? Do you guys need to debrief? Let's, do you want to talk? Do you want to talk? Because that's a good way of dealing with these situations. You talk it out, right? And they're like, yeah, like, listen, this is pretty severe. I'm a little bit new to the service, and this kind of has me shook. Like, I'd like to talk to you guys about it, and I'd like to see what you guys might have done in this situation. So they initially say that they were dispatched for a woman that was lost in the woods, that was found by a father and son that went hunting that morning. Okay. And the notes, it said that the woman was covered in blood. And an update on the call said that she might be, it looks like she's been bleeding from the abdomen and there might be some intestines hanging out.
Oh my God.
They're like, holy shit, we need to go. This is a pretty serious situation. So the crew responds to the call, and they're at the north side of the city, big wooded area. It takes a little bit of a time to get there. And by the time they get there, the father and son are still on the phone with dispatch, kind of just, they're giving this woman distance because the woman is actively like, this woman does not want help. She's walking away. She doesn't want them to come near her. Okay. She's let them know, fuck off. Don't come near me. I'm fine. So they're kind of staying a little bit away, talking to the RCMP. So the crew gets there and they approach and they get the exact same situation, as the father and son do. Don't come near me. I'm fine. The paramedics are like, listen, we're here to help. Looks like you're bleeding. Looks like something's wrong. And as they get a little bit closer, it does look like, her intestines are hanging out of the bottom of her dress, but they get a little bit closer and they realize, wait, maybe that's not intestines. That almost looks like it's an umbilical cord.
Oh.
Okay. So they get close and they're like, listen, lady, can we help you? Looks like you might have just delivered your child. She's got something bundled in her arms. And right away, something bundled, they notice that something's bundled in their arms. They notice the umbilical cord and they start getting concerned. So they're like, okay, listen, I haven't heard the baby yet. Like, is the baby alive? We need to get our eyes on this baby. We need to make sure the baby is well. And they plead and they plead and they plead and they get no luck. While they've been kind of dealing with this, the partner gets on the line. It's like, we need a police presence here ASAP, right? Something's going on. This is probably the woman, because it's common knowledge that there's a pregnant woman missing. Everybody's been informed on it. Everybody's been keeping eyes out. We're like, we think we got eyes on her. So the RCMP do show up, and an ALS crew, right? So not too long after, there's a little bit of a, let's say we call it a standoff. Okay. They're demanding for the lady to kind of give the baby up and seek medical attention. She's refusing. So the ALS paramedics are currently working on drawing up some midazolam, some other type of sedatives to maybe, this is going to be a struggle. This woman needs medical help, right? Like, she's retained her placenta, right? She's still got her placenta intact. That can be an extreme issue for postpartum bleeds, infections. And we're worried about this baby, right? Struggle ensues, woman gets taken down, baby gets pried from her arms, baby starts crying. Small sigh of relief, knowing, okay, the baby obviously is well enough to cry. We need to get the mom medical attention because, hypothermia, possible postpartum hemorrhages, whatever, lots of different things. As they take this woman down and try to sedate her, she starts screaming hysterically, being like, starts yelling, this was not the deal. This was not the promise. You promised. And she gets injected with a midazolam and starts kind of slowing down a little bit. Okay. The PCP crew takes the baby and the mom and they get loaded in the back of the ambulance. Okay. While they start examining the baby, they overhear the mom kind of in a half sedated state, just muttering like, she's mine, she's yours. What? He's mine, she's yours. That's the thing. He's mine, that's my deal. And they open up these blankets while the mom's muttering and they start doing their assessment. And the heart rate's okay. Baby's breathing. Baby's actually got relatively good color. We need to warm this baby up. These are our main goals here. But as they're assessing the baby, they realize the umbilical cord and placenta were wrapped up in these blankets. Okay. And as they're doing it, the mom, startled, while she's restrained in the bed, and her head pops up. And she yells, "He's or she's mine, he's yours. That was the deal. She's mine, he's yours. That's part of the deal." And the paramedic, realizing that the placenta and umbilical cord that is still attached to the newborn daughter, and there's still a placenta and umbilical cord that the mother has not delivered, that obviously this mother has given birth to twins.
No.
And the paramedic looks over to her and said, "Where's the other child? Where is your other child?" And she looks up and says, with her father, of course. And her eyes roll back in her head and she goes unconscious. And that's it, boys. That's the
That is
story.
fucking terrifying.
Didn't
And
happen
the
to
father's dead.
me. Didn't happen to me.
Oh,
It
fuck.
happened to a friend of ours.
Sounds like some sort of deal with the devil gone wrong.
He's mine. She's
No,
mine.
no,
He's yours.
He's yours.
She's
She's
mine.
mine.
She's mine, he's yours. She's mine, he's yours. Words that I'll never forget.
Your friend will never forget.
My net friend.
So wait, where was the other child? The Antichrist?
Some wonder if possibly there was a deal made, and when she was sneaking away those late nights, she made a deal,
The devil.
The-
and she got to keep one, and the father got to keep the other.
oh, fuck.
The mother, the mom wanted to do a DNA test on the daughter, but I don't know. You don't get to, you're only around them for so long. You don't get to know the details, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Happened to a friend of yours?
Yeah, friend of a friend of yours.
Of course.
Acquaintance of an acquaintance.
In a town.
Somebody I don't even know. Might not even be real.
Yeah, in a town
Could even- might not even be real. I
similar
don't know. I
to
have no
southern interior British Columbia. Similar, not necessarily
I don't know.
there.
I don't know.
Ooh, god damn. Dan, are you scared? Will you be able to tell your story?
It's my turn. My turn.
I wasn't listening.
What'd you say?
It's my
So
turn. I wasn't
if
listening. I
people
was paying attention.
recall, back in 2011 in March 11th, 2011 to be specific, there was a pretty big earthquake and the tsunami in Japan, in northeastern Japan, and people remember that.
Right.
I remember that because I was at sea at the time. I remember that because we had to come back from Singapore like right away in order to help with the tsunami relief efforts. What was it? Operation Tomodachi was the name of that thing. It was like a magnitude 9 earthquake, lasted 6 minutes, and it was like the most powerful earthquake ever recorded in Japan and the 4th most powerful earthquake in the world at the time.
Damn.
So after you had this earthquake, you had the tsunami, which followed, which was the worst part of it. So this tsunami destroyed countless buildings, and the destruction is near total. Almost, according to the Japanese National Police Agency, you probably had about almost 16,000 people lost during that
Let's
time.
see.
Damn.
They were still pulling in, I think it's sometimes like they were pulling in boats like after the fact, and like the boats had corpses on them. People even tried to get out to sea at the time. So today, 2020, as of 2020, you still have 2,500 people still reported missing. Now, after the fact, in 2016, you had a sociology student from the Tohoku Gakuin University, which interviewed a number of taxi drivers who were from the town of city of Ishinomaki. And Ishinomaki is one of the cities, one of the towns that was hit. It's a fishing village, like a fishing town. It's pretty much their primary business. So they were hit extremely hard, like wiping out an entire, almost the entire city at the time. And they even had there was even an account of a school, like a primary school, where they had like 70% of the students died Like there's a whole issue about how the bureaucracy or like the Japanese government, local government at the time, like actually prevented a bunch of kids from getting out before the tsunami hit, and resulting either indirectly or perhaps even directly in their deaths. So while interviewing a number of these taxi drivers, Yuka Kudo found that there was unusual events that had been going on or had been reported, or there had been rumors. And this student decided that, wanted to investigate some of these strange happenings that had been going on. There were, it is a traumatic event. You have something like a flood, you have hundreds, if not thousands of people missing, trauma, like immeasurable trauma to everyone who even survived at those events. So you had a number of kind of paranormal events. There was like a spike in reported paranormal events. Is actually there was a large influx of like religious leaders that came, that like calls for religious leaders to come in, like not just like just the regular Shinto and Buddhist, but they had Christian, like everybody coming in, like and Japan, like in their culture, like exorcism and those kinds of things, spirits, oni, yokai, yurei, like those are actually things that are considered to exist. They've always been integral to the culture of Japan. So some people are saying that these things happen, like there were some people that were presenting like symptoms of possession, one of this, but one of the incidents that they went to investigate was these taxi drivers. Now, if you know anything about like Japanese taxis are pretty interesting.
little to nothing.
Japanese taxis are pretty interesting. Like they're like maximum professional. Like it's an entire, like just one taxi company for like the whole of Japan almost. And like they wear these gloves. They have like set protocols. Like once you get in, they start the meter, have an entire thing that's kind of set up. It's pretty neat.
Wear gloves, so like more like a chauffeur.
Yeah, it's like they wear the hat, they wear like a little vest, uniform, everything. They got like little gloves that they wear. It's pretty like super professional, and they all drive like the same type of car. It's a
taxi.
It's taxi. It's interesting.
They all drive taxis,
but they're not like different models. They're all like the same. It's like entire fleets of like the same.
No
car,
variation.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the taxi. I've seen
so
it.
You're familiar with the taxis. So now a number of these taxis were reporting, or they had reports of some taxi drivers saying that they were picking up passengers that were disappearing. One of the earliest incidents that had been reported was that a taxi driver who had picked up a young woman who hailed him at a public transport station. And it was after the event, and like a while after the event, months. He kind of found it strange at the very beginning. He found it strange because this woman was wearing a heavy winter coat, and the day was actually like pretty warm and, almost and humid. That, why would somebody be wearing a coat? And she asked him apparently to take her to a destination, Minamihama. And when she asked him that, he said, "That's strange." Like he hadn't turned around. She just asked him where to go, and he told her, without turning, like there's nothing left at Minamihama. Like it's gone. It had been wiped out by the tsunami. And after a few moments of silence, like he turned around to check, and she was there almost. And, she just said, "Have I died?"
Oh. Ooh.
And then when he turned fully around, she wasn't there anymore.
So she wanted to go back to her ghoul.
So there was another one. There was another incident that was reported by another taxi driver. And this one had, instead of a young woman, it was a young man, and asked the taxi driver to go to Hiyoriyama and Hiyoriyama Mountain. And the driver took him. The driver started the meter, drove to the area. When they got there and he turned around to tell the young man, like, here's the price of the fare, the man was gone. Fuck. So what they're saying is like this. There's a number of these. They call them ghost riders. Like they call them like ghost riders.
Oh, that's cool.
That's fucking
perfect.
freaky.
The name Johnny Blaze.
Yeah, Johnny Blaze. And like, so there's a number of these taxi drivers that were reporting these events, and they said it was really strange because it's like these taxi drivers are extremely professional and they don't start the meter. Like they would start the meter and drive to these places. Like the person was in the back, ready to go. They would start the meter, they'd tell them where to go, and then they would take them there. So it's like these taxi drivers wouldn't start the meter if somebody hadn't gotten into the vehicle.
Yeah.
And so they would get to these places, or even something like they would get there and they would turn around and these people would be gone.
Fucking these
not
freeloading,
getting
these
paid.
fucking freeloading
What the fuck?
ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it comes out of, yeah, it does.
drivers.
That's the other thing is like, yeah, they wouldn't start the thing because the taxi drivers are liable for the fares. Once they start the meter, like if the person doesn't pay, they have to pay
That's
it.
part of their books. Yeah.
Come on. Nobody works for free. Let's go.
That's freaky, man. Ghost Rider. I like that though.
I like it too.
Well, it's like it was such a tragic event, and I mean, so many lost
Just
lives
call it ghost freeloaders.
in an instant, right? Like you got to think that there was so much residual.
Well, I wonder it
energy
happened
and
so
emotions.
fast. Not only that, like it happened so fast, so it makes sense that these ghosts don't even know they're dead.
Yeah,
They probably don't even know what the fuck happened.
yeah.
There's one kind of they interviewed like a chief, another like article when it was talking about it. I think it was actually featured in an episode of Unsolved Mysteries too. But I think they interviewed a chief exorcist. Like they have those. And they were talking about how, yes, like the spirits of young people are fairly susceptible to this kind of trauma. Like if they die, it's that resentment of being in the prime of your life and not being able to live out the rest of your life, which fosters that, forms that attachment to the physical realm. And then can lead to, feelings of resentment and those things that can, produce, angry spirits.
Honestly, and I'll say it. I've done it right. I lived so shitty in my late teens and early 20s that every year I'm in a new prime of my life because there's no way it could be worse than
You went rock bottom right away.
I went rock
Do
bottom.
you want to
like,
come back? You're saying you want to come back as a ghost?
No, I don't need. I wouldn't need to because. Oh yeah, I
only way is
guess so. Yeah, the only way
Oh,
is
I
up.
see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Ripped from this earth in their prime, and then coming back to haunt the cab drivers of Japan.
Yeah,
Pretty
poor
sure I peaked in middle
cabbies.
school, so
Poor cabbies.
that's when I stopped growing. So I think that's where I peaked.
You're the tallest kid in middle school. Eh?
He's the tallest kid for like 4 months.
I've been the shortest in every fucking grade. Forever.
All right, we got a couple more stories to tell, but before that, we gotta take a quick beer break, refill. We'll be right back.
Brace yourself for something fuel nominal. Unleaded 88 is the clear fuel choice. It's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. And it's grown by Iowa corn farmers. Now that's totally worth the hype. So pump it up with Unleaded 88.
And we're back.
Woo!
I believe the dice said it was my turn to go next. Braden needs to get, meat draw drunk before he tells his anyway, so it's perfect. He's on his way.
I'm feeling it.
The skeleton boner inside you? Is
yeah.
that what you're on?
Yes,
All right.
it's pretty stiff. My drink, that is.
Hey. We can only see from the nipples up there, so I don't know what's going on underneath that desk. Nor do I want to.
Listen, that guy's got stamina, man.
It's been a long massage.
Oh yeah, he's been just giving her. Doesn't like kisses though. He leans back.
He always evades.
It's full prison style.
Just likes his hands.
All right.
Does that make me feel so uncomfortable?
You're doing too much visualization. You don't want that. Anyways, for my story, I take us to happens about eastern Pennsylvania. I will not give the city or privacy.
It's a Vania.
It's a Vania. It is a Vania. I will not.
Who established that? Yeah, it's a Vania.
The worst stuff.
Vanias are spooky.
Vanias are haunted.
The worst
Vanias are
stuff,
spooky.
worst stuff happens in a Vania, regardless of the prefix. The Vania part equals max level horror.
Spooktastic.
Anyways, the story happens. We're going to call her Sarah Lynn. She's 14 years old. No, she's in.
Whoa. Can you up her age a little there, buddy?
No, I cannot. I have to be true to the encounter. It has nothing to do with a skeleton on her back for an excessive amount of time, though, if that's what you're asking. She's a freshman. She's a little bit of a loner.
Wait, what? In what, middle school?
High school in the States. 9, 10,
Oh,
11.
is that what a freshman is there?
Well, the States,
Okay.
I think they do 9, 10, 11, 12. So that'd be middle school in Canada, freshman in the States. She's kind of a loner. She's kind of a social outcast in a way. She has, she's got the emo look. She got the dark hair, maybe a little bit of self-harm on her wrists. She has long black fingernails that she takes a lot of pride in, and it's a big point for her fellow classmates to make fun of her. So, ever since she can remember, she's been bullied in school. It's terrible. If you witness a story from the outside, it's absolutely terrible. But then one day, she gets an invite to go to a freshman party. It's her first one. She's actually quite excited. Even though she plays a social outcast, every person, regardless, needs a little bit of social touch.
They want to be
included. At least just a little bit. You need a community.
Mm-hmm.
So they invite her. There's in this area of Pennsylvania, there's a tradition where they party beside the railroad tracks at the passing train at 9 p.m. So they invite her to this party. She files her nails, repaints them, gets ready to go. When she shows up, she's the first one there, which is odd. She's not there. She's there a little early. She didn't want to be late. She didn't want to be too early. So she is a few minutes early. No one's there. So she waits around. She waits a couple more minutes. She sits down. As you would in her situation, think you've maybe been pranked. Someone told you to go somewhere just to fuck with you. So she sits down. The tears start. Right.
She's going to go home and listen to My Chemical Romance so hard after this.
Or Sarah.
Yeah.
She does. She actually pulls out her Walkman at this time.
Yeah. I jumped in with the haven't you people ever heard of closing the goddamn door? No.
That's Panic at the Disco.
Isn't that one of those? I feel like she would listen to that song too.
Something similar. I can't be sure exactly what she was listening to. But as soon as she starts to put in her earbuds, a bag or something over her head.
Oh.
It's wrapped around tight around her neck. She's pulled off her perch, she's sitting on like the side of the tracks pretty much. She's pinned down. She can hear 3 girls laughing and giggling as they tie her wrists up. They pull her up to the tracks. They're giving her all the insults that a teenage girl experiences. That's, girls are mean, boys are mean, kids are mean in school.
Yeah.
So this girl is at the bottom of the pyramid. They got a bag over her head. She's pretty sure she knows who it is. She can't do anything. They tie her up, they tie her wrists, they hold her down. And that's when she hears the horn of the train in the distance.
Ghost train.
And then they have her laid out on the tracks and she feels the vibration of an approaching train. Louder, louder. Another horn blares, signaling to anyone near the crossing, best get out the way. Her assailants hold her there as the train approaches, louder and louder and louder. They hold her and hold her and hold her. The train approaches. But it's just a prank. A terrible, violent, brutal prank. They grab her legs and they go to pull her off the tracks. No, just in time so the train does not run her over. As they pull her, though, she gets stuck. Either there was a loose tie or a splintered board underneath the tracks, something stopping her from getting pulled off the tracks easily. A couple hard tugs. Nothing. She can hear the panic in her attacker's voice. They drop her. They leave her legs. The train's approaching. It's too close. There's nothing they can do. The train's lights hit the track where Sarah's sprawled out, laying stuck. Hammers on the brakes of a freight train. But as you know, they take time to stop. The girls run in fear before the train approaches. Pitch black out. The next morning, the body of a 14-year-old girl is found on the train tracks. But it's suspicious. Only her legs are found. From torso up, from waist up, no remains of whatever girl this is. Over the next few hours, they put it together. This is Sarah Lynn. Now, at first, the community, they jump right to suicide because of the nature of the girl. She had past harm, self-harm. And over the next 6 months, the case is just cold. Her top half is never found. No one ever really knows what happened. Her parents think she laid down on the tracks and who knows, body, they think, I guess, is just disintegrated or whatever, some random occurrence that they cannot find. 6 months go by. Everyone's moved on from this poor girl's death. Then one night, after volleyball practice, a girl named Tressa was walking home. She was a part of the 3 girls who murdered Sarah. Even though there was no witness, it was dark, and they were never caught. There was 3 of them. She was on her way home from volleyball practice when she heard a curious sound, strange sound, something you wouldn't normally hear just walking on the street, on a sidewalk you've never heard. Kind of sound like a click, and then a click, and like a slide, like something heavy was being pulled across the sidewalk. And then again, click, click, pulled a little harder, faster. Click, click, slide is what it sounded like. Something hard on the concrete, but it was dark out. She couldn't see anything. She sped up. Click, click, slide behind her. That's terrifying sound. It's getting louder and faster. Click, click, slide. Click, click, slide. Click, click, slide. Click, click, slide. Her body was
Take
found.
it back now, y'all.
Her body was found the next day, shredded. Her watch on her wrist stopped at 9 p.m. The town was shaken. Obviously,
Two young girls.
One young girl 6 months ago and another seemingly random attack. It's a fairly big city. But people, one seems like a random attack murder of a girl. But the next night, Brittany in the same fashion. click, click, slide. She turns and looks, nothing. Her body found the next day. Emily, good friends with Brittany, was coming home later that afternoon, the following day, after grieving with her parents. Still unsure of what could have done this to her two friends. A curfew was ordered. No one out past 9 p.m., no exceptions. Possible serial killer. Brittany's on her way home, seemingly enough time. She got 20 minutes, it's a 10-minute walk. She stops for comfort food at the local 7-Eleven. Buys all the goodies.
Big gulps, eh?
See you later. She's on her way home when she hears something behind her. Click, click, slide. It got faster. Click, click, slide. Click, click, slide. She started walking faster. She started to run. When out of nowhere, slash, something hits the back of her leg. Her calf spews open, blood and muscle protrude. She stumbles. She's not far from home. She's trying to get home. It's at the end of her driveway. She's hobbling down. Click, click, slide. Click, click, slide. She tries to get up the stairs, but no, click, click, slide is there. She turns around as she reaches for the door. A girl with long black hair. Long, blood red fingernails seemingly sharpened to points. Glasses. But no legs. She recognized her instantly. Sarah. Click, click, slide up the first step. Click, click, slide up the second. Emily reached for the door handle. One last click, click, slide. At 9:30 that night, Emily's mom, worried about her, opened her front door. And in blood, written on the sidewalk, was 9 p.m. I was taken. For the rest of time, I shall be doing the taking.
I shall be doing. I
She's
shall be doing the taking.
Yeah, well, listen, she's acquired a particular set of skills.
Yeah.
Click, click, slide,
Yeah.
man. She's gonna be doing all the taking.
She still roams to this day.
So is it click click? I'm guessing it's like hand
Fingernails.
torso.
Her long fingernails.
Fingernails. Click, click.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Jesus.
We need Zeltron to make the click, click slide though.
Yeah. That is terrifying.
She still
Fucking scary.
She still lurks to this day in eastern Pennsylvania. There's still a curfew in this certain county of 9 p.m.
Shut up, really? Oh my god.
I can't tell you which
You're
one.
also not allowed to dance.
I'll tell you what though, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like if you're gonna get paranormally activated, I'll take a click, click, slide. You got a better shot. Like think about
Oh, if I hear that,
legs.
I hear that.
I'm gone,
yeah,
bro.
Oh man.
I'm gone,
oh yeah.
man.
Next time you're walking in the woods
Yeah,
alone
yeah.
and you hear a little crunch, crunch.
crunch, crunch.
I hear click, click, slide, and it's every fucking second of my 4.564 gone.
Yeah, gone.
See ya.
You know what I would do? I would like as soon as I heard it, I would get down in the sprinter's pose in the pose, like I'm getting ready to take off the block,
Yep.
and then go. I would take the time.
You get set first and then you go.
Yeah.
Well, you got a few click, click, slides
Yeah.
to deal
Yeah.
with first, right? Like you got at least 3 of them.
At least 3.
100%.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's what I'm saying.
so yeah, the first one, get set. Second one, go.
Go.
I mean, worst case Ontario, you could probably hurdle her.
You can punt her. You can punt her.
She's got really long fingernails.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like, you know how off balance she would have to get to swipe at you?
You'd be surprised,
You know what
I
I
think,
mean?
of the quickness of this girl.
You guys seen like Monsters Inc?
Yeah, that's what
There's a guy like that with the long legs, like, and he looks like he like
Shuffles
breakdance
around.
with them and stuff. That's kind of what it reminds me of.
All right, so
Over to BJ Cheeks to
turn.
finish it off
my
here.
turn. All right, this is a true story. It did happen to a friend of mine. This story's been told to me actually once, so I'm retelling a story told to me. So if I stumble, it's because I'm going off of memory. I will preface this story that where I live, there is an unusual amount of deer everywhere.
Deerts.
That I say this so that when you go like, what? Come on, is this real? Yes, because there is a ridiculous amount of deer that aren't that scared. So a friend of mine, he works as a landscaper, works for a company out here. I don't want to say the name, but one of the contracts they have numerous contracts of, old folks' homes, stratas that they do all the lawn care. And one of the things they have is they have the contract to quite a few of the graveyards in town.
I say that's your first mistake. Why would you be friends with this person?
I'm not. I said he's a friend of a
They're tainted.
friend.
Of a friend.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't even be a friend with his friend.
No.
Too close contact.
So he tells me this particular Sunday, he kind of draws the short straw. And he's tasked with going and cleaning up the lawns of the 4 graveyards that they have a contract for. So he loads up his truck. He's got a push mower, weed whacker, all the necessary gear. Drives out to the first graveyard, gets out. Nothing unusual. He's weed whacking around all the gravestones. He's an indigenous fella, and he always takes the time, he said, to like kind of respect the land where he's doing this. And he fires up the lawnmower. He's pushing around. He says he usually listens to music. And then all of a sudden, out of the corner of his eye, boom, there's a deer. Just looking at him. Right? And he kind of looks at this thing, and it's not too unusual. But the thing that strikes him as odd is this deer isn't scared. As he's pushing the mower and getting closer, and it's making a noise, this deer is just standing there, just staring at him, not moving. So he continues to mow, and he's kind of like, well, this is weird. Like normally, like it's not uncommon to see deer in this town, and he's like, this is uncommon. The only uncommon thing is it's just staring. It's just totally chill, not moving. It doesn't seem to care about him at all. So he goes about it, and he gets within 5 feet of where he's mowing, and this thing doesn't move, and he just continues to mow, and it just sits staring at him.
He's mowing his own business.
Yeah. So he finishes up, brings the lawnmower back to the truck, loads it up, throws the weed whacker away, gets in the truck, goes to pull the reverse, and the deer's just still standing there, just staring at him. And he's like, man, it's kind of, gives him a little bit of the heebie-jeebies. Nothing too crazy. So he heads to the next graveyard, just around the corner, down the road, goes and sets up. Same thing, right? Weed whacker, he's paying attention to the gravestones, he doesn't like to tread over where the bodies were buried. A very professional fella. And he's firing up the lawnmower, and lo and behold, there's another deer. Fuck off. Just staring at him. This time, it's at the edge of the graveyard, and he's like, well, that's kind of weird. Again, there's so many fucking deer. This isn't common. But what's uncommon is, again, this deer is not shaken at all. It's just watching him mow the grass. So he starts to look, and he's a little creeped out, but then he remembers that like in his culture that this seeing a deer and stuff is some time of protective spirit. So he kind of takes he's like, oh, okay, that's probably what this is. It's just, just a protective spirit watching over me, do my job. So packs up his tools, jumps in his truck, right? He's backing up, same thing. Deer's just chilling, looking at him, really not too scary. So he goes to the third graveyard, right? Gets up the mower, he's mowing. And as he fires up the lawnmower, he's like, lo and behold, there's 2 deer. Oh, fuck. Just standing there, looking at him. And he's like, okay, well, he's justifying this in his head. He's like, we're getting to hunting season. We're lots of stuff starting to move. He's making all sorts of excuses for why he's seeing this, right? And he's starting to feel like he's like, man, this is some sort of weird.
He's theorizing.
Same thing. Yeah, he's theorizing. And he mows the lawn. These things are not shaken. They don't run. They're not spooked. They just watch. And they're just watching him. So he finishes mowing, loads it up for the 3rd time, and he's backing out, and he stops, take notice. He honks his horn a couple times. Honk, right? Try to spook him away, and they just, nothing, right? Just watching. And he's like, man, that's, right? Oh, that's a little weird. Whatever. So the 4th graveyard is actually quite a ways out of town. It's way up the far end of this hill, way out in the boonies. There's not a lot of houses around. I think the closest house, a trailer across the street. That's it. I've been to this graveyard. There's nothing around. So he heads up there and he unloads his gear. There's a gate that you have to unlatch, and there's a long driveway into the graveyard. So he hops out, and as he walks up to the gate's already unlocked. The lock's locked onto the swing. So it's whoever was there, the gate's unlocked for all intents and purposes. And this is weird for him. So as he's standing there at the gate, he just gets this really uneasy feeling like he's being watched. So he looks around and he goes, no, fuck, I got to get back in my truck. So he just runs back in his truck. He just gets a super bad feeling. And he runs.
Probably heard a click slide.
Yeah, he runs back sits in his truck, right? And he's just sitting there and he's watching. He swung the gate open and then ran in his truck, and he's just sitting there and he waits for a little bit and he's looking around. He doesn't see anything. So he's like, okay, well, all right, well, whatever. I'm just being I'm being a wimp. I'm going to go in. So he drives in, unloads his lawnmower, unloads the weed whacker, and he starts firing up the lawnmower, right? And as he fires up the lawnmower, he's pushing it around. And as he's there's like an outbuilding at the far right end of the property. And as he comes around, he notices that a tree has come down, and it's obliterated the fence back there. So you can just kind of see this down tree into the woods. And if you want to look up Vancouver Island woods, they are dense. They are dark. And at night, they can be spooky. And this is the end of the day for him. So now he's seeing that this tree's come down and it's obliterated the fence. He can just see right into the woods. And he gets this really uneasy feeling. Mm-hmm. And so he starts pushing the lawnmower. And as he's making his way to this corner, the lawnmower kind of jams up. And he's like, fuck, God damn. So he flips the lawnmower over. It's all jammed up with wet grass, right? He's got to clean it out. It's just really bunged up. So he's cleaning it out. He's pulling all the grass out. It's dicked. So
it's fucking dicked.
Pulls the grass out. He's, sweating. He's almost done. He flips the lawnmower back over. As he stands up, right at the edge of the property where that tree's falling through the fence, there's a deer. God damn it, deer. Just staring at him, right? So he's like, huh, right? And this deer's just watching him. So he fires up the lawnmower and he starts pushing it in that direction. And as he starts pushing it, he just got it running again. As he's pushing it, boom, lawnmower's out of gas. Dies. And he's just standing there looking at this deer. And he gets this sense of dread, right? Just this overwhelming sense of dread. And he's standing there. He's like, he's looking at this deer. He tells me that like he's getting the feeling like something doesn't want him to go near that corner, whatever it is.
I was anticipating him standing up and being like, I've had enough of these motherfucking deers in this motherfucking cemetery.
So he's standing there, and all of a sudden, this deer, unlike all the other ones, it looks agitated and it looks spooked, and it fucking just tail goes up and it just books it right past him, like almost brushes him, just bounds right past him. Right. And he's standing there and he says just the silence and everything. It's so easy. He just is like, nope, I'm fucking out of here. And he just turns and he runs to his truck. He told me that he doesn't know why. He doesn't know why he ran to the truck. There was no reason for him to, other than the deer ran. He got scared. He ran to his truck. As he's at his truck, he looks back to the broken fence, and in the tree line, he just sees a shadow. There's a person standing there in the tree line, not a deer. There's a person. And this person is seemingly moving.
Does he look like a deer?
To get a better look at them.
Oh, fuck.
Jesus. Don't do that.
So he's sitting in his truck and he's trying to like get eyes, like, you know, when you're like, it's like getting low light and you're trying to like see stuff better. He's looking and the shadow is just kind of standing there moving side to side, trying to get a better look at him. Right? And he just goes, nope, fuck it. I'll come back tomorrow, grab the lawnmower. I'm out of here.
Keep the lawnmower. Fuck it.
So he drives back down the hill. So he tells me, little known fact about that graveyard. In that back right corner, the nearest grave to that hole in the fence is where they buried a man who murdered his family with a hatchet.
No. What?
No word of a lie. The closest grave to where that fence came down. And he thinks what he saw was some sort of spirit. And it was the deer were trying to warn him and they were watching him as being protector spirits. And the last deer he saw at the last graveyard was warning him to run.
Damn. Nope.
He went back next morning with a colleague, picked up the lawnmower.
And quit his job.
Another deer.
Well, he still does it, but he doesn't go up to that graveyard anymore.
I hope not.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Fuck that.
Yeah, he's like, no, fuck that. Rookies can do that. Absolutely terrifying.
Fuck.
Whew. But I know the spooky caveat is there was a man who murdered his entire family with a hatchet who's buried there. Right there.
Of course, it's a scary story.
Yeah.
He's fucking... Yeah.
Right. So that's when I talk to him, he says, he's like, without a doubt, that's who it is, man. It's a murderous spirit. He was going to lure me in the woods.
They almost
That's
got
terrifying.
him. Yeah.
Who the fuck is going to see that shadow like scoping you out and be like, oh, I'm going to go follow it?
Yeah.
Fuck that shit.
Well, maybe, but you know, maybe had he like not left right away, maybe it would have whispered to him or something, right? Like, it's just, it's
Come
just
over here, have a look at this hatchet.
It's weird.
You wanna have a look at it?
Here. It is creepy
Fuck
though.
these deer.
He
Come
said
over here.
he says like, you know, it's not uncommon to see deer, but deer at every single cemetery and deer that aren't spooked and just watch. He's like, that's the creepiest thing, man. He tells me because
I don't understand.
He's like, they got these little black eyes and they just watch you.
Yeah. I'm amazed that these things still look out for us after we fucking every season we go out there and just fucking shoot them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they still got our backs. Like, oh, all right.
I don't know. They've been attacking people here in Kelowna lately.
Terrifying.
Dogs. They've been attacking little dogs.
They attacked
and
two
stuff.
people on my street.
Oh, really? That was on your street?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the video. I would upcut that fucking thing. So
One guy got
A deer would
gored in the
absolutely
testicles.
fuck you up.
One guy got
no.
What?
No. It's the old man. I watched him. He fucking got buckled. He's like an old man. He didn't even do anything. He like tried to push it.
Gored in the testicles?
One guy got gored in the testicles. No joke.
Is that what the
dude,
ad said?
buckled
Is that what the article said?
Yeah, it did.
Man, go.
I don't know if that was the
I'm like,
headline.
come on.
But that wasn't the headline. But
Me and Axel, we would tag team him. No problem.
some of these deer around here are pretty small. I feel like I grabbed those horns and just hip tossed the deer.
That's what I'm saying. Well, but do you watch the video? Like the guy didn't even, he like kind of like pushed it. And it's like, nah. Like if you're going to fucking deal with that thing, deal with it.
Take him down, full mount, destroy that deer.
Just give him a shot. I watched my uncle fucking one punch a fucking bull one time.
A bull right in the nose.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it was fucking, they would always get loose in our farm and you'd have to chase him around the neighborhood and one of them charged at him and Dale just fucking punched it right in the face and it dropped down on both its legs.
What just happened?
It's Dale. He punches his way out of everything.
Anyways, once a year we tell some spooky stories on the show. However, if you have a spooky story and you're looking for somewhere to share it, Cosmic Channels is coming back, baby.
Woo! By the time you listen to this, you've already missed it.
You might have missed the first episode, but it's coming back. Again, on the same timeline every second and fourth Sunday. It's easy to find. Go to your calendar, count to the first Sunday. It's not that one. Count to the second one. It's that one and the fourth one.
Figured it out.
I mean, I've been doing the show and I'm always surprised when it's like, oh, it's this one? Okay.
People get
it's also
confused.
going to be streaming live on our Instagram and TikToks from now on. So basically everywhere. Everywhere you follow us, we'll be streaming.
You'll see Cosmic Channels, but if you want to listen to it, go follow Cosmic Channels on its own podcast feed. It's going back on its own feed where it belongs.
Yeah. It's not a baby anymore. It doesn't need our support.
We gotta let
it's
it fly.
its own show.
Gotta let it fly.
However, with it being its own show, if you don't listen, it's going to die.
It will die.
Yeah, that's how you feed it.
Yeah, that's how you feed it.
You
all right?
feed the Cosmic Channels
It's like
energy by
it's
listening to
boys.
it and telling your friends.
It's literally like a Tamagotchis. Everybody's had one of those Tamagotchis.
Yeah.
If you don't fucking feed it, it's going to die.
Yeah, and Cosmic Channels feeds on listens. So if you don't listen it, you're killing a baby.
The more listens, the bigger it gets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it'll be back. Go check it out. All right, if you're not supporting the show, you want early access to the case files, the bonus material, the Discord, all the other goodies we do, you know where to go by now. alientheorist.com. Hit that support link. Patreon, Supercast, they do the same thing. This week's newest supporters. We got Sean Andraka, Kyle, Wayne, T-Dub, Bud Stuffins is back. Great name. Johnny Solario, Matthew Wilbur, Sarah Tate, and Alan Taylor. Thank you very much for supporting the show.
Beauties.
And as we always
say at the end of these things, keep those eyes on the sky.
see you in after hours.
Peace.